about a half a cup of green peppers, red peppers, any kind of peppers that you have. I am altering this recipe a bit, so this is my test recipe. I haven't ever made this one. So let's do it together. I've had these frozen peppers in the freezer, because that's why they're frozen, right? And my daughter made a mess in the kitchen already, so I can continue to make a mess. Her leftover peppers are here. She made this cowboy caviar, that's what she calls it. Okay, so this is going to go, let's put this in there. This is my big dish. Now, to put a little bit more than I have in there, but that's what I had, so I'm not going to go for any more. Okay. Next, we're going to take we're going to take 3 eggs. Just got these eggs on sale. $3 a dozen. That was a deal. Seems like every time I make something, it takes 3 eggs. So I got 2 dozen. Plus I have some extras in the fridge from a farmer down the road. Someday I'll have my own chickens, but until then, we'll work with what we have. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to just take these eggs and I'm going to mix them up. Next, I'm going to put in a half a cup of half and half, because it calls for milk, but I'm going to use the half and half just because I couldn't get to the milk. It's behind something else in the refrigerator and I'm being lazy. This is the sea salt, and I'm going to take a half a teaspoon because it's stronger than your average salt. I'm going to have my cranks of that, or else I would say like a half a teaspoon. I don't like things spicy, so I just like a little, enough so that you know they're there and they're not going to torture you when you're eating your food. Okay, those are in there. This is everything in the pot. Now, this calls for, let's see. Let me see, I'm looking at the recipe. And does it call for this? 5 ounces of sharp cheese. This is 8. I normally shred it myself, but this was on sale for $2.50, and I couldn't go and spend $5 on cheese when I could just get this. This is fine. It's not the main ingredient, so. Now, the big thing is 1.5 sleeves of Ritz crackers. I have one here, so you know, for this, we're going to take these and we're going to crush them. So I'm going to take half of this roll and just crush them. I don't feel like washing the food processor, so I'm not going to make a big deal about it. I'm just going to smush them up. And then we're going to take 1.5 pounds of hamburger. And that's it. I feel like I want to put something else in it, because I like to do things my own way, but I'm going to stay mostly with the recipe. I have 2 pounds of hamburger because those were on sale for $5 a pound, and they're organic. So I think what I will do is cook the other hamburger up, and then it'll be ready for like tacos or to put in like sauce. You can always cook it up and then put it in the freezer, and then you'll be all set up for another day when you just don't want to get stuff out and start cooking and making something homemade, but it's still, you already did half the legwork, in other words. Alright, so this is what I bought. This is 1 pound, so I'm going to take half of this and put it aside, which I don't really think that the hamburger police are going to come along and say you used too much. But I'm trying to go by the recipe. And no, I didn't wash my hands, but I wash my kitchen scissors as if they are a tool, because they are a tool. So into the mix, and now that's going to get all mixed up. Tools in the kitchen. These so to recap, we have 1.5 pounds of meat, 5 ounces of cheddar cheese, 3 eggs, half a cup of milk, 1.5 sleeves of Ritz crackers, half a cup of onions, and I put in half a cup of peppers and salt and pepper. Now we're just gonna mix this, and there we have this almost done. Now don't look. Okay, don't look again. What am I going to do with like 3 ounces of cheese? It's just going to go bad in the fridge. Alright, if I cook the meatloaf won't go bad. Because once it's cooked, you can pop a few slices in the freezer. Anything I might like to do, I'm flinging things all over. Maybe a little bit more salt, but I do have to wash my hands for that. And I'm going to use parchment underneath of it, so that way I don't have to work really, really hard later on to get my cookie sheet clean. So let me go grab that, clear the decks. So while this is cooking, or let's see, I can find my parchment paper without ruining the position of the camera. There it is. Parchment. It's such a great tool in the kitchen for so many reasons. Here we go. Okay. Let's see what we're going to do. Cook this at 350 for about 35 to 40 minutes. Okay, so let's get this. This is a home video. Yes, it's not perfect. Every time I try to make perfection, it stops me. So, that's a lot. That's a huge meatloaf. So that's going to go, parchment should have been longer. But that's going to go in the, some of it, let's see, some of it may go in their freezer. It depends on how hungry my husband is. Depends on how good it is, too. I'm going to put a glaze over this, and the glaze, I put it at 350, and I didn't preheat it all the way, but I'm going to put it in there anyways, because eventually it's going to come to 350. Now, I will put my timer on, though, because I tend to get distracted. So I'll put it on for about 21 minutes. Recipe for the glaze, we need 3 ingredients. And I am going to deviate from the ingredients because I want a little bit more glaze than what the recipe is calling for. So I'm going to do 3/4 of brown sugar, which I am scantily measuring. I mean, I could prove to you that I got good eye. See, there's 1/4. That's an overfilled 1/4, and that's definitely another 3/4. Okay, so we're going to take, whoops, my stove needs to be cleaned anyways. We're going to take 3/4 of ketchup. And I'm going to take about a teaspoon or so of this mustard. I was just thinking put it over there, but I've got too many messy surfaces. I don't even need another one. There, that's it. And then we'll just take if I can get to it, we'll take our mixture and we can heat it up on the stove if it's lumpy. If I put a little heat on it, that will help melt the brown sugar, and then I'll just put it aside for when I'm ready to glaze it. So let's get these dishes in the dishwasher. Okay, we're ready for glazing. Now we can just pour this on. I got the brush in case I need a backup. Could leave a little on the side for when it comes out, but and there you have it.